Hey guys, welcome to another video. The newest update for Mortal Online 2 just got released, and with it came a whole new weather system, beast mastery system, a new mount, and a bunch of other changes. This video will go over everything you need to know, so let's dive right into it. Reading straight from the patch notes, the long-awaited beast mastery skill is now available, and tamed creatures may now be controlled in ways previously not possible. If you learn the beast mastery skill, you'll be able to control your pets with a ton of new abilities, many of which are unique to specific creatures. The new Molva mount also makes its debut in Mortal Online 2, and so you'll now be able to find and ride it in-game. This is the first animal that isn't a horse that you'll now be able to mount, so it should be pretty cool seeing players ride around on them soon, and maybe you'll want to try and get one for yourself. As the patch notes continue, while you are trekking across the world, be sure to look up towards the sky because the new weather system arrives with this update, overhauling the look and feel of the weather across the entire continent, and I do have to say that it does look pretty good and a lot more detailed than it did before. Some quality of life features have also been added to the housing system, and house owners may now demolish their houses in an easier manner, as well as transfer the ownership of their home to another player. Last but not least, a familiar figure has decided to visit Tindrum, so be sure to get into the holiday spirit by paying them a visit. You gotta go to Tindrum to find out what that is. So now for the major feature, Beast Mastery. This has now been added to the game, and pets now have a new resource called Focus. You can see your pet's focus in the pet frame, and each pet has a focus threshold indicated by a white ring on the focus meter. So if your pet's focus is below the white ring, the pet will deal less than full damage, but once it's above that ring, it will deal full damage. Pets gain focus by being in combat, and if the tamer looks at the pet or what the pet is attacking and stays close to it, the pet will gain focus faster. Pets that are mounted will also gain focus, and the amount of focus that the pet gains is also impacted by the tamer's beast mastery skill. Almost every creature in the game that is tamed or dominated now has 4 pet skills that the tamer needs to trigger for the pet to use them in combat, and these pet skills all cost focus. To trigger a pet skill, just drag it to the action bar and press the button shown on the action bar slot. The pet skill has a minimum focus required, and this is the amount of focus that the pet must have built up to be able to use the pet skill, and each pet skill also has a focus cost. So this is the amount of focus removed when the pet skill is triggered. Some pet skills also have a target requirement. Some will require you to target the pet itself, and some will require you to target the pet's current target. You can see these requirements, if there are any, in the tooltip of the pet skill. If you fail to target the required target, the pet will lose the focus cost of the pet skill but will not trigger the skill. So you need to be skillful when using this and not waste any abilities by not targeting whoever you're meant to target. Pet skills can be unlocked by leveling up or finding certain skills. If a pet skill is locked, you should see what you need to do to unlock it by hovering over the pet skill. If you correctly target the pet skill and the pet has the required focus to trigger a skill, the skill is queued on the pet. This means that the next attack the pet does will be the pet skill. Pets don't instantly trigger the pet skill. Instead, it will trigger once the current attack is finished, and you can only queue one pet skill per pet. And finally, all damage done by a tamed or dominated pet is now also scaled using the Beast Mastery skill. So you'll probably need to have a pretty high Beast Mastery skill if you want your pets to really be effective. And having that high skill will probably limit your points so that you can't be as good at fighting in other areas. So now diving a bit further into the patch notes, we can see that around 100 new AI attacks have been added, which are used in Beast Mastery, but normal AI can also use them. So you will see a lot of animals and creatures just using different kinds of attacks that you may not have seen before, and you'll also be able to use them if you control the pet or creature. Around 50 new buffs and debuffs have been added to the game, probably with a lot of them revolving around the new abilities for animals and creatures, as well as 47 new skills that have been added. The Molva has also been added to the game as mentioned, and you can now trade your building to another player using a button in the building settings UI. This is something that a lot of players have wanted to do for a very long time, and you can finally do it. You can now toggle demolish mode for buildings as well, using a button also in the building settings UI. When you do this, the building will continuously lose health every hour and be destroyed within a few hours. This may be cancelled by hitting the demolish button once more to stop the process, but your upkeep attached to the house will be lost when the house is destroyed. Going into the changes shown on the patch notes, you can now see buffs and debuffs that your target has on the target frame. Some buffs like Magic Reflect can only be seen on yourself and your pets. All pets are now shown in the pet frame and not only mounts. all pet command icons are now a combined icon with the pet's portrait as the background. They removed the default behavior that made several AI attacks be reflected when the AI's target had magic reflect, and added better text feedback when your pet uses a specific attack on someone. Buffs and debuffs now use a much smaller icon, and they've improved tooltips and descriptions of AI commands that have been dragged to the hotbar. Character body shape is now cached in the animation state, which improves animation thread performance by roughly 30% on humanoids. This means we should be seeing a little bit of a performance bump when it comes to seeing other players or humanoid NPCs on the screen. Mounts will now come to a full stop before letting the player dismount. This one's a big one, and previously the player could start the dismount animation while the mount was still slowing down. Players can now cancel an ongoing dismount command while the mount is still moving by pressing W to accelerate again. I think this will make it seem a lot more fluid when it comes to getting on and off your horse, as well as slowing down and then quickly speeding up again if you need to make a split-second decision. The veterinary skill is now a secondary skill under animal care, and veterinary timers have been reduced to match player bandaging timers, so this should mean that you'll be able to bandage up your horse or pet a lot quicker than before. There are some improved weather system effects, and now pet carry weight has been rebalanced, and pets now have different max carry weights, and you can now see the carry weight and max weight when opening their bags. This is a big quality of life feature, and I think it's pretty great that they have this, and every pet will have a different maximum weight, which makes a lot of sense. Mount stats have been adjusted, and the friends list max size has been increased from 100 to 200. The broker now shows the date that the item that you're seeing was added. Oakmere pipes can now be stacked up to 10. New sell values on many gem types have been created or added, and many creatures have been rebalanced for the addition of beast mastery abilities. Satyrs wielding spears now also have overhead and ride attacks. Artifact pieces are now added to various loot tables, and the existing complete artifacts have been removed. The Trinket Amulet effect Beast Influence has been replaced with Alchemy due to Beast Influence being removed from the game, and the Trinket Amulet effect Veterinary has also been replaced with Bowcrafting due to Veterinary being changed to a secondary skill. That's everything covered under changes. Now let's go into fixes. So they fixed rare server issues that could cause parts of the world to crash. They also fixed a bug which caused you to never be able to cast spells until death or relog. They fixed an issue where the mount speed boost, where you double tap W, would throttle down automatically after 10 seconds even when the boost had been cancelled, causing the mount to throttle down to a lower speed than intended. And they also fixed an issue with the mount speed boost being cancelled if the player double tapped W a second time after the boost was active. So tapping W multiple times in a row now should ensure that you end up in the boost state. They fixed a visual bug where it looked like you could add a stolen item to the trade window. They fixed not being able to transfer items to a stack of items in a bag or pet's bags if it was full. They also fixed not being able to fill the last slot in pet bags if the pet had armor equipped. This was one that I knew about, and it was kind of annoying if you had small horse bags, but yeah, so that's now fixed. They also fixed the human clade gift Warcry, which would decrease outgoing magic instead of incoming. They fixed an issue with crab attack behaviors, fixed another issue with the Eyes of Shore Prowers, fixed another issue with the Necromancer boss that allowed you to kill him quicker than intended. Several environment art fixes were also implemented, and several typos were fixed. There's also a possible fix for the invisible gear issue. If this happens past this patch, they want us to report it, so do that if you see anyone who's naked and they're not really naked. So that is pretty much everything. It is a big update, and it's a pretty good one, I would say. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video and want to see more videos like this, please leave a like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.